Okay, let's see if we can try this one more time, folks. But when, you know, I don't know how to start this, but over the past few months, I've heard of an independently, well, not independently funded, but independently started and crowdsourced funded animation project known as Hamabaloo. It's hard for me to even say. Hanabaloo, if you will, Hanabaloo or something like that. And it's supposed to be the first steampunk 2D animated feature or animated project. Now, apparently, it's met its goal, at least one of its goals, and that is to have enough money to fund doing animated shorts so that the creators behind this can present it to numerous studios to possibly do an animated feature or perhaps do an animated series. And I looked at, and when I first heard about this, I thought, well, that's pretty cool. They want to do this. They want to, bring, they want to keep, because apparently the goal is to keep 2D animation alive. So I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. They want to keep 2D animation alive. But as I looked, but today, or yesterday, I should say, I went on toonzone.net to check a topic I had put there. I had uploaded there, and that's the topic of what is the lustful milk egg, which I did a 3-part video of here on YouTube. And when I looked on the site, on the general animation forums, I noticed there was a topic talking about crowdsourcing animated features. So I looked at this, and of course, right off the bat, they were talking about Hanabaloo, the steampunk film. But then they started talking about all these other crowdsourced uh, um, animated features that were being funded by fans that wanted to basically keep 2D animation alive, but also wanted to see certain animated projects that they had been wanting to see become a reality, become just that, a reality. And I looked and I saw things like, projects like Under the Dog, Art Story, Dogstown, this other one that's supposed to be a mix between Dance Central and something else. Um, just a whole bunch of other stories. And I looked at these, and I was like, I was just amazed at what I saw because these are basically animated projects that have the potential to be great animated features. It's just that right now I guess they lack the funding to get off the ground. I mean, animation-wise, you've got trailers done, and it shows you exactly what you're going to get. Like with Steampunk, you got a few of those done. Not Steampunk, but Honolulu, you've got some of those done. You got a trailer for Under the Dog done. You've got some behind-the-scenes stuff for Art Story done. You got a trailer for what this one animated thing, like I said, is a mixture of Dance Central and something else, is supposed to be. You got all these different projects. Dogstown, I think's got maybe a few pictures up or something like that, a few posters up. And I look at these, and again, I'm just amazed that people want to see these become a reality. That they are going to the public like me, like people like me and you, and saying, "Hey, look, help us out. If you do this, this will help keep 2D animation alive." Because that's the main goal, apparently, of all these animation projects is to keep 2D animation alive. And I have to respect them for that. I really do. Because when I look at this, I think to myself, I know of people over at DeviantArt and at Verpiniant that have characters and have stories that can go through that same process, can go to places like Indiegogo or Kickstarter or wherever, Patreon, if you will, which I do have a Patreon account, but I don't have any, like money kind of, situations set up like, let's say, Animat does. um, or Linkara. So I don't have it in that area. I'm just signed up with an account. Nothing more than that. And it is at BW Roses if you want to check that out. But the point is, you got all these sites that I've mentioned that people are using to make these animation projects a reality. And then, like I said, I look at people that I've met on DeviantArt and Infinity, like Grape Athenia, Cabuzo, Kai Coronis, Smokescale Aquatus, um, Zachariah Converse, if you will, uh, Nampico 31, I think, or whatever the name is. I look at all these characters, Acaro, or Icaro, if you will. I look at all these characters, all these people. I look at, Caveman over at Echo's Portal. I think it's under another name here. They have another name at DeviantArt. And I look at all these stories that they've done. I look at all these characters do artworks and webcomics they've done. Doodly Dude, Mr. Internet Man. I look at all these characters, Space Crater, Idle Monkey. I look at all these characters. And I say to them, all these characters that they have created and have showcased in little web comics or web strips. And when I see what I saw at toonzone.net, I say to myself, it can be done. Grape Athenia, who's done some tremendous commissions for me and anybody else that's commissioned her, as well as taken a lot of our suggestions and ideas for herself, her stories, and implanting them into her stories, and using them basically, say, in her stories, which we appreciate. When I see stories like from her, like What Dreams May Become series, or the Rhonda House series, I say to myself, these are probably the kind that can be done in 2D animation with maybe a little bit of CGI thrown in. Because with animation, we all know that possibilities are endless. You can practically do anything your imagination can come up with. And when I look at stories like Rhonda's House and What Dreams May Become, I look at stories that through 2D animation can be done and can be done to perfection, or done to a point that, you already know what's coming, but it comes out probably far better than what maybe your mind visually has shown you when you read the story. Or it's maybe come out exactly how you visually saw it in your mind. Who knows? But I look at that and I say, that is a possibility. That can be done. I look at someone like, they say, 93 Mickey, who does commissions through points and regular requests. And his individual stories, a series of stories, they too can be done. They too can be done. I look at someone like Mr. Internet Man. He has a character named Veronica, whose alter ego is Demonica, because she uses this lipstick to turn herself into a sexy demon with a sexy white-skinned demon with black wings, sort of just basically sexual, sexual kind of a very sexy, attractive outfit kind of deal. But it also allows her, that when she's in this Demonica form, or she as Demonica, it allows her to become anything she wants to be. She can shapeshift into anything she wants. She can, change her form into she can shapeshift into anybody or anything. And if she shapeshifts into somebody, she could split herself in 2 or 3 or 4s, as well as shapeshift them into a similar, if not the same, individual, but with different coloring. Or she could shapeshift into one person and then split off, and then have her twin or her triplet shapeshift into a different person, or to a different object. And when I see something like that, again, it's amazing. It really is. It really is amazing, because it really is amazing because to me, these things through animation would look stunning, would look unbelievable. And you know what? There are people out there that don't know about these stories that Griffithinius does. Doesn't know about this character that Mr. Internet Man has done. And these people would get a kick out of them if they saw them visually, saw these stories visually come to life, or saw this character do what she does visually through 2D animation. Same thing with Doodly Dude in the Morpher Manor. Here's a series itself, The Morpher Manor, and you already got characters, an established cast already. Just imagine what can be done with 2D animation with that. You know, you take a look at what Kai and Kabuzo and X do with their characters. I mean, Kai Coronis' characters of Froro and her sister Flodua, which are Slime Girl characters. Same with Kabuzo's character of Cat, and Idle Monk's character of Maddie, and Space characters, several Slime Girl characters like Dooley, and an X character of her Slime Girl character of herself called XU. All these characters, most of the time they interact with each other. Sometimes Namiko has her character Hura, Hira, interact with some of Zach's characters from his stories, or even interact with some of the people's characters that I've mentioned. And just imagine the world that you could get these characters involved in through 2D animation, through a series of episodes, webisodes, if you want to. Just imagine the fun visually. See, let's say, Frollo and her sister Flodu shapeshift into whatever they want, melt down into puddles if they want to, or fuse into their alter ego Fufu. Imagine that. Imagine the fun that can be done with that. Again, imagine the fun that can be done with that. You have someone like, Akuro, who has these two characters that end up most of the time, through a lot of these comic strips, becoming different characters. Either it's the male character going through a transformation and transgender transformation into a female character, or something like that, and then his friend following suit. And then, what they change into could be anything. Imagine a series that could be done with that. I mean, one of the things they do shapeshift into is sometimes slime girls, and sometimes when they become slime girls, they merge together into one. Again, these are stories and characters that I've mentioned from the people these are stories and characters from the people that I've mentioned, that if people take that step through that door and go to places like Patreon or Kickstarter or Indiegogo, and say, you know what, I want to take my stories and I want to take it to that next level of 2D animation and see what happens. To help 2D animation stay alive, I guarantee you people would be acceptable of these characters. They would be. I mean, you take a look at the fact that some of these stories that are coming out, some of these animated projects that are being worked on, are just amazing projects that nobody thought would happen because of the art style involved. Because of the art style involved. Imagine what it's going to be like when you go and see a movie like Art Story, or Honolulu if it becomes a feature, or Under the Dog. I mean, imagine the visual masterpieces you may be seeing. I mean, to me, that is an unbelievable opportunity. Hold on for a sec.